On the Zuntian continent, in the heavenly spiritual domain, the Dongxing kingdom was celebrating the wedding day of the heavenly demonic sect Empress. The ceremony was about to begin, and all guests were required to take their seats right now. The crowned third prince, Lin Xiaoya, entered the hall, and all the guests were talking about how talented he was and the achievements that he had accomplished at such a young age. He had reached the Earth King realm, one of the 9 realms of cultivation. From the warrior realm to the god realm. They were also talking about the status of the groom, Ning Tian, and mocking him. They said that he was a loser who was still a 1-star warrior in their kingdom, even after 3 years of hard work. They were confused and could not figure out why the Empress, who had both beauty and power, had chosen him as her husband. His friends tried to stop him from speaking loudly and slandering the Empress's husband. If he wanted to live longer, the scene shifted to the Empress's residence in the heavenly demonic sect. Ning Tian was nervous and anxious. He never thought that he would become a time traveler one day and travel to a cultivation world. His biggest problem was that he was still a 1-star warrior, and his cultivation was not rising at all. He felt like a complete waste, and blamed himself for being a loser who was unworthy of marrying the Empress. As he was talking to himself, the Empress showed up at the door, opened it, and came inside. She asked him if he was awake, and told him that she would get straight to the point. She told him that he needed to understand that the purpose of the wedding was just for show, and nothing more. Ning Tian was surprised by that, and wondered if she was kidding him. He thought that his life was so miserable, and even his marriage was a lie. But then, something unexpected happened. A system popped up in his mind, congratulating him for activating the shocking system. Ning Tian was shocked by that, while the Empress thought that he was ignoring her, and became furious. Ning Tian was thankful that he got a system that would help him in this world of cultivation and change his destiny. He ignored his wife and focused on the system. The Empress approached him and asked him the same question again. She asked him if he had heard what she had said. But Ning Tian suddenly shouted at her to shut up because he was busy. He did not realize that he was talking to the system and not to her. The Empress was stunned and angry by his rude behavior. She did not know that he had a system, and thought that he was disrespecting her. She started to release a strong aura of her power and asked him what he had just said to her. Ning Tian realized that he had made a huge mistake, and forgot that his wife was there. He tried to make excuses, but he could not say anything. He was scared of his wife like a scaredy cat. But then, the system congratulated him. On completing his first shock mission, he got a reward, an aura suppression skill, that could suppress any opponent's aura for 3 hours. Ning Tian was excited, and realized that the system was rewarding him for shocking her. He started to think and analyze the situation. He knew that they had a huge status gap between them, and wondered why she wanted to have a fake marriage with him. He thought that she must have something that she wanted from him, and he knew that the girl would not kill him that easily before getting what she wanted from him. So, he had an idea. He decided to take this opportunity and take advantage of her, to get more rewards from the system. He continued to scold her, and said that he was her husband. So he asked her if she had any objections to him talking that way to her. He touched her face, and a notification from the system popped up. He had completed an ordinary shock, and received a QI blood pill as a reward. He continued to say to her that since they were going to become husband and wife, they should do what couples do. The reaction of his waifu was furious. She glared at him with hatred and tried to push him away. But because of this, he completed his intermediate shock and received another QI blood pill that was automatically consumed. His meridians were repaired, and his cultivation was awakened to the god rank. His martial arts and cultivation skills were increased by 10-folds. He did not expect this. He was not trash anymore. He was happy, and ignored his waifu. She suddenly attacked him, with a powerful palm strike. He flew away and fell to the ground. He said that she was too much for that. But she could not tolerate his insolence. She did not stop, and continued to attack him. She asked him how he wished to die, while he did not know what to do. He seemed to be in a bad situation. He asked for help from the system to activate the aura suppression skill. The aura of his waifu started to suppress, and she was shocked. She wondered why her aura was suddenly disappearing, and what was happening. She felt exhausted, and she lost her power little by little. She fell down to him, and he could not believe it. He was thankful that he had survived that, and wondered why the system was not giving him any rewards. He said that he only had 3 hours left, so he did not have time to waste. He needed to fight and grabbed her hand. She said that if he dared to do anything to her, she would swear that she would kill him. But in this situation, he acted recklessly. He thought that if he was going to die, he might as well find some pleasure and do the forbidden technique to become a man. He gave her a wonderful shock while his beloved waifu endured the magnificent pleasuring shock. He successfully shocked her. And after that intense fight, 3 hours later, he was relaxing and breathing some air while drinking a cup of tea. He said to his waifu that things were done, and it was too late to kill him, and he thought that he was still useful to her anyway, while his waifu was thinking that she needed to be patient. If she killed him now, she would not get the demonic heavenly manual that she wanted. So while she was dressing up, she told him that he needed to go to the palace in the evening, and their wedding ceremony would be held there. She then left the room, and he breathed a sigh of relief. He was thankful that he was still valuable to her, and said that he was crazy to dare treat her like that. But then, the system gave him his reward, a 10 years of cultivation. He was so shocked, and his cultivation realm rose rapidly. 1 hour later, he broke through to the 6-star Black Warrior realm. The system told him that he could view his attributes in the panel, and his status window showed up. He had a godly physique and a 10-folds technique. He asked the system what the godly physique was, but the system had no comments about it. He thought that the system would not answer that, but he was still happy. He could now counterattack and survive in this world. He said that because of this opportunity, he was no longer a loser. He said that one day he would show his power to everyone, even his wife, who was powerful, and the Empress. He thought that he was also capable and strong enough to stand on top of the world. Now, in the evening, in the heavenly demonic palace, they announced the wedding and introduced her to them. She was the 8th generation leader of the heavenly demonic sect, Empress Luo Wu King. They all said that her presence was dominating, as an immortal emperor realm cultivator. But her legs were shaking because of what had happened recently. They praised her for having both power and beauty, and said that she was worthy of being their empress. But the third prince was heartbroken, and he was sad. He said that the empress was indeed worthy of her reputation, but it was a pity that she was destined to marry Ning Tian. He sighed, while thinking that. Then, another guy said that he heard that the third prince had secretly admired the empress for a long time, and based on him, only the third prince was worthy of the empress. He showed that he was Kuangshu, and his cultivation was Earth King realm. He was the leader of the Kuangshu sect. He persuaded the third prince to not accept it, and watch the empress marry that loser guy. The third prince's reaction was like he was going to explode, but he eventually had some self-control. He said that he could not easily interfere in her affairs, but in his mind, he did not want to see a loser guy marry the empress like that. He was so angry if that happened. Then, the old man announced that the empress had arrived, and told them to welcome the husband of the empress, Ning Tian. They all said that they heard that the husband of the empress was a lowly disciple of their sect, and his cultivation level was only a 1-star warrior. Apart from his looks, he had nothing else. They wondered how he had managed to marry the empress, and what secrets he had. The old man announced the name of the groom, Ning Tian. But our main character did not show up on time, and everyone was furious with him, and telling how dare he be late for the ceremony of his own wedding. Now our MC finally appeared, looking ashamed and embarrassed. He made excuses, saying that no one had told him that the venue was tens of thousands of meters away from where he lived. He had run like a madman. But luckily his cultivation had improved a lot. If he was still the same, he would not have been able to reach the place even if he ran for a day. He apologized for being late, saying that it was his first time getting married and he had no experience. He asked for forgiveness, while everyone was shocked and disgusted by his rudeness, lack of etiquette, and manners. He was just a handyman after all. The third prince was especially angry with him, because our MC had made the empress wait for so long in vain. He dared to give such useless excuses. The third prince scolded him, saying that he was reckless and disrespectful. Our MC retorted, asking him if he was sick and why he was shouting like a psychopath on their wedding day. He twisted his words, saying that if he did not want them to proceed with the wedding, he should just say so. He accused him of being a distraction and preventing him and the empress from sleeping together on their wedding night. Everyone was shocked and speechless by his boldness. They could not believe what they were hearing. They were also jealous and envious of him, because he had won the heart of the Empress. Because of this shock, our MC received a reward from the system, the heavenly demonic palm. Our MC did not expect this. And he was overjoyed. He smiled like a lunatic, as he realized that their wedding venue was a huge treasure trove. He had learned the heavenly demonic palm instantly. The third prince was even more envious, and he questioned himself if he was not handsome enough or powerful enough for the Empress. He boasted that he could crush our MC like an ant in an instant. He slammed his fist on the table, saying that he was the third prince of Dongxing, and he could not accept this humiliation. He shouted loudly, demanding that our MC need to stop. He said that he wanted to uphold the dignity of the Empress and challenge him to a duel. The guests all praised the third prince for being the most outstanding and powerful among the younger generation. They wondered why the Empress would choose someone so different from him. And also, they said that they knew what the outcome of the battle would be. The third prince said to the MC that he would not bully him as a loser. He said that he would only use half of his power, and that if he was a man, he would accept his challenge. The Empress watched this silently, while the pervert guy was happy to see this exciting event. The third prince thought that even with half of his power, he could easily defeat our trash MC. And as long as our MC accepted his challenge, he could use that as an opportunity to show off in front of the Empress. The guests also thought that there would be a good show. Our MC accepted the challenge, because it was an opportunity to get some rewards and shock everyone. The virgin third prince boasted that even if he used half of his power, it was still enough to crush him. He wanted to see how virtuous he was, and if he was worthy of the Empress. Everyone agreed with what he said. Our MC walked towards him, thinking that since the virgin prince was looking for a fight, he should not blame him for what would happen. He said that as his guest from far away, the virgin prince should go first. But the prince said that if he made the first move, he would be laughed at by everyone. He told to our MC to go first, and mocked him for being a loser. But our MC was expecting that, and he was waiting to hear that. He used the palm strike that he had acquired recently. The prince laughed at him, because of his stance. The sect leader and the elders saw this, and judged him for being a trash and a good-for-nothing. They said that he fell into the trap of provocation in a few words easily, and they were very disappointed in him. Meanwhile, our MC was ready, and said that his skill was not that great. He then jumped, saying that it was enough to crush him, but his palm strike changed color. The virgin prince uttered some nonsense words, as he did not expect this power. Our MC's palm strike was about to land on him, and he realized that this power was the heavenly demonic palm art. He was so scared that he almost shit his pants. He was shocked to see it. The sect leader did not expect this either, and was also shocked by the MC's skills. The virgin prince seemed like he could not last long under this strike of our MC. The third prince wanted to unleash his true power to defeat our MC. He was furious, and tried to remove the seal on his power, but it did not work. He wondered why it was not working, and turned around to see that the Empress was suppressing him. Our beloved waifu did not let him go back on his word, that he would use only half of his power to fight the MC. That was why he lost. He could not endure and defend against the power of our MC, and he was flee to the ground, while wondering that he was defeated by a mere handyman trash. And he could not believe it, and because of that fight, everyone was shocked on what just happened. The virgin prince had actually lost. They could not believe that our MC used the heavenly demonic skill of their sect. They wondered where he learned it. The sect leader and the elders were also shocked by it. They said that he did not embarrass them. The Empress thought that our MC was actually the key to the heavenly demonic manual that could help their heavenly demon sect to rise again. She remembered that when they were doing the pleasurable event, he dared to use some demonic skill to suppress her. She could not believe it, and was so ashamed, while our MC was very happy, because he collected so many shock points, and got a charming physique skill. He did not expect it. He activated it, and all the girls became addicted to him. They thought that the MC became more charming. Some of the males also felt that way. They all became lunatics for him. He asked the system what it was doing, while he looked at the Empress. He saw that she was not affected by his charm, and he wondered why his charm did not work on her. He heard the words of the virgin prince, who was asking why he lost. He asked if everyone did not say that he was a trash, while our MC said that he was indeed a trash, a total trash. Everyone wondered what he meant by being a trash, when he could actually defeat the third prince. They asked if he was a crazy lunatic. He lectured them, saying that as a cultivator, they could not expect to achieve instant success. He asked if that was not trash, then what was it? They told him that it was difficult to reach the top in just one step. So how could anyone do that? They asked why they were trash and useless. Our MC said to them that the world was so vast, and people were so small. There were so many powerful and strong people in the world, that they could not do anything against that. He said that he would rather be able to recognize his place, but he told them that they were so arrogant with their powers and small achievements, and said that, in his opinion, they were just self-proclaimed geniuses. Everyone could not believe it, and this was their reaction. They believed the MC's bluffing words. The sect leader, the elders, and the members of their sect thought that his words and methods were ruthless. They said that our MC was just a small handyman, but he had the grace of a saint. Our MC aura dominated them. The sect leader asked him where he learned the palm skill that he used. Our MC said that he learned it from the Buddha scripture pavilion. He could not say that it was because of his system. The sect leader asked him again how long it took him to master it. Our MC was about to answer, but the sect leader said first that it was a year. If he was not wrong, our MC thought about what to say. If he said that he mastered it in 1 minute, it would be too much for them. He decided to say a longer period, and told them that it was a day, just 1 day. Everyone was astonished and shocked by his answer. They said that it was absolutely impossible. But our MC had a system, so it was possible for him. The sect leader approached him, and he could not believe it. He said that it was very hard to practice that skill, even for an ordinary person. Even the very talented Empress took 3 days to master it. And yet, he actually mastered it in just 1 day. He shouted that their sect finally had a disciple who was talented enough to rival the Empress, and even surpass her. Everyone said that our MC was simply a genius among the geniuses of all time. A notification from the system popped up, saying that he had shocked the elders and the leader of their sect, and rewarded him with 1,000 aura of cultivation. Our MC said that the system did not disappoint him, and he got a wonderful reward. He felt the large amount of aura pouring into his body. The sect leader was crying like a baby, and said that this was a rare event that only happened once in a lifetime. He asked the old man what he was doing. They needed to proceed with the wedding. The old man announced that it was time for the newlyweds to worship the heaven and earth. Everyone cheered and applauded, and said that they were a good match. Our MC wondered how just a moment ago, he was just a trash. But now he and his wife were a perfect match. He smiled like a perverted boy, and thought that no matter which world he was in, respecting the strong was the truth. They bowed to show their respect to the ancestors, and followed the tradition of their culture in the wedding. The Empress hoped that everything would be according to what their demonic ancestor statue said. If she married our MC, she could get the demonic manual. She recalled what happened a few months ago, when she discovered the secret of the heavenly demon sect in the back of the mountain forbidden region. She came to the forbidden land, and saw a big statue of their demonic ancestor. The statue said that if she married our loser MC, her ancestor would give her the manual as promised, and she also tell of what happened half a years ago. The 5 emperors, the 3 lords, and the 2 empresses would come to besiege their sect. Only by reaching the god realm could she be strong enough to fight them. If she wanted to break through and defeat them all, she had to become a god, but to accomplish that, she had to obtain and practice the demonic manual. It was a tradition, and it had been happening for years, that they had to marry someone with the godly physique, and our MC had that, so she had to marry him. Even though our MC was a loser who could not cultivate, she told that she would still want marry him. But she did not know that our MC had obtained a system, and that the future would change. She also said that she would not let their sect collapse. Now the wedding ceremony was over, and the newlyweds were leaving. Everyone congratulated them and wished them happiness. But among the crowd, there was a rat, a spy who had witnessed everything. He had no time to waste. He had to report this event to his alliance leader as soon as possible. After the wedding, in the heavenly spiritual realm Righteous Alliance, some elders were talking about the recent rampage of the demon domain. They said that the demons were left by the heavenly demonic sect, and they discussed the beheading of our beloved waifu Luo Wuqing. Their leader, Emperor Ning Tian, asked them about their plan and how it was going. The two elders, Shu of Jianmei and Elder Tian Feng, said that their plan was already ready, and they were just waiting for his order. They slandered our waifu and our MC, and mentioned that she suddenly got married to a good-for-nothing handyman. He said that he had also heard about that, and that the rat Guangshu had contacted him recently. He said that Guangshu had a report to give him, and asked the two elders to listen to it together. He got his spiritual item, the psychic gem, and the rat showed up. He said that there was a huge incident in the demonic sect. The rat was panicking, and his leader asked him what the problem was and why he was so nervous. The rat said that our waifu had deceived them all, and said that the person she married was not a piece of trash but a peerless genius among geniuses. The two elders were shocked to hear that, and said that they knew it wouldn't be that simple. The rat explained everything to them. He said that our MC name was Ning Tian, and that he claimed to be a useless handyman. He said that he did what he ordered him to do, and made Lin Xiaoyao, the third prince, have a duel with him. But who would have guessed that he was not a trash, and that he defeated the virgin prince with just one palm? He said that our MC learned the palm skill in just one day, and had a saintly word and advice. With just one word of their MC, everyone's hearts were broken. The two elders said that to achieve that was a legendary miracle, and they sensed that the man had something. It was a big deal for them and their plan. Their leader broke the spiritual gem. He was so angry, and he needed to find out the details about our MC. They needed to ensure that the demonic sect was eradicated, or they would all be in trouble. Now, in the Empress's bedroom, the two of them seemed shy and quiet. Our MC was thinking that everyone in the palace hall had reacted to his godly physique when he used the charm aura. But our waifu didn't react at all. He wondered why it wasn't working. Our waifu was combing her hair, and our MC felt a sensation that his body needed one more round. But he said to himself that he needed to focus and wake up. He said that he became her husband out of nowhere, and that if the system hadn't come around, he didn't know how miserable his life would have been without it. He wondered if his waifu would visit him in the future, and if he wanted to gain a foothold in this world, he needed to use his power. He ordered his system to activate the charming physique. He couldn't control his virtue, but anyway, after he activated his charm physique, he approached her. He thought that since no one else was around, he must try to shock her again. He wanted to see if it was the same as during the day when they did it. He called her, and she asked him what it was. He said that a moment of a single spring night was worth thousands of pieces of gold, and that they should do what they needed to do. She said to him that he knew that he had a special physique, and that his power could attract some little girls, but that his skill couldn't handle her. He was so sad because he failed, and he said that he was right, that his waifu's heart had reached an indestructible level. But she was removing her clothes, and he noticed it. He was so surprised about it. He couldn't believe that the second round would happen right now. She approached him, and said that if he wanted to do it, he couldn't, because he couldn't suppress her anymore like last time. She walked to the bed, and he asked her why it was. She said that he could try if he wanted, and she tempted him to do it. He cast some spell, and he fell into the trap. He said that for the sake of his dignity, he would prove himself to her right now. He was so excited, but he felt something locking him. He asked her what she did to him. She said that it was nothing, and that she was suppressing him with a little bit of her aura. She told him that he needed to sleep standing tonight. He was shocked, and demanded her to let him go. He said that they couldn't complete it like that, and that they needed to fight on the bed with real sword and gun, like a real couple. She ignored his nonsense words, and after hours passed by, he seemed tired and sleepy. He thought that she wasn't planning to let him go today, and that the gap and difference between them was too big. He said that he needed to just practice, because sooner or later he would let her know that the world was big, and the earth was big, and that he was the biggest. So he started to cultivate, and his cultivation level increased by 3-fold. After that night, he went outside to breathe some fresh air, and said that his wife was so annoying and ruthless, because she made him stand the whole night, and because he cultivated all night, he reached the 7-star Black Warrior level, but he was still only an upgrade of a 1-star. He was not fast enough to become strong and to suppress his wife, while the system popped up telling him that he could choose a place with abundant aura to cultivate. He thought of such a place that had abundant aura nearby, based on his memories. So our MC went there. In the primary cultivation ground, all the aura of the heavenly demonic sect was gathering there, and it was perfect for him. as it could accelerate his cultivation speed. Our MC was absorbing all the aura there, and all the sect members were talking about him, saying that the Empress's husband was cultivating there. They wondered if they had always said he was trash, but they were so surprised that our MC was absorbing the aura so quickly. Others said that he was clearly a genius. Our MC did not expect that the aura of the cultivation ground would be so abundant and pure, and said that it was truly extraordinary. But he said that it was still not enough for him, and he was totally disappointed. When they saw this and heard what he said, they were so shocked and could not believe it. They said that all the aura around was slowly entering his body, while our MC seemed to be increasing his cultivation. He released his tenfold cultivation power, and he was so eager to level up. Now our MC was absorbing all the aura so fast, and because of that, all the members who were cultivating in that place were alerted and thought that there was an earthquake. Others said that it was the husband of their Empress Ning Tian who was absorbing the aura of the whole cultivation ground. The system rewarded him for shocking them with a water dragon step, and this skill was increasing. He successfully activated it, and he wondered that with this new skill that he acquired, he would have no problems making his entry and exit. Now he had a lot of aura stored in his body, but he realized that without an additional skill, his strength had not improved at all. As he was leaving, all of them were amazed. But before he left, he asked this girl where the techniques of their sect were located. She said that they were at the scripture depository, and she said that it was actually the day of opening. She informed him that there were so many techniques there, while she called him patriarch. Our MC thanked her and asked why she called him patriarch, because our MC was still a young man, in his early 20s, and wondered how he could be someone's patriarch. The girl was so shy and said that it was according to their sect's rule, that the one who married the Empress would become the patriarch of their sect. Our MC said that the patriarch sounded too old, so he told her that she should think of him as her older brother, and that it was better and more fitting for him to be called that. Oh boy, you won't believe it. This little girl was lustful, and felt pleasure with just a word. But anyway, she was so happy, and all the males of their sect were so envious of him. Our MC said that he would not disturb their cultivation training anymore, and he would take his leave, but they complained that the aura had already been sucked dry by our MC, so how could they train? Now in the heavenly sect scriptura depository, our MC felt refreshed, and asked this guy if they all wanted to enter the depository because it was a long queue, and it would last until the horse months of the year. The guy said that this depository was full of techniques and skills that successful leaders had searched for all their lives, and it was not surprising that there would be a queue for 3 days and 3 nights. But then he suddenly realized that it was their patriarch, so he shouted so loud that their patriarch was here. All the girls approached him and crowded him, while all the girls said that he was so handsome and they wanted to marry him. All of them were addicted to him. This guy said that our MC was indeed very charming, and not only did he marry their Empress, but he also captured the hearts of many of their female disciples. The others were angry and envious of him, and said that they wished they could have 1/10 of our MC's charisma. But suddenly this elder appeared and asked what the commotion was happening there. He said that they were so noisy in front of the depository, while using an intimidating aura. He asked them what they were doing, while all of them said that it was the old man, the elder Gu Yan. All of them, and all the girls, ran away, and our MC's happiness was gone. Now the elder said to him that he was known to be old-fashioned and strict, and he said that he was sent to the depository because he had contradicted the Empress, and said to him that if she stared at him, he would surely be left with nothing. I thought he would teach our MC, but he actually respected him, and said that he, Gu Yan, greeted him as a patriarch. All of them could not believe what they were seeing, that the old ass had become a good pet. And our MC did not expect this either. The elder also said that our MC was so famous in their sect, and his strength was unfathomable. It was normal for him to be impressed by him. He gave the token to our MC, saying that it was a key to access all the floors of their depository, and he could view or access everything. Our MC was thankful and happy, and thought that, how could this elder be so strict? If he handled things very well with him, our MC asked him, that he just needed to hold on to that ancient plate for now. The elder asked for forgiveness for his insolence, and said that the higher he went, the higher level of the skills were, and correspondingly, the requirement for the strength was also higher. He wondered which floor our MC would go to, but in the blink of an eye, our MC disappeared in front of him, and the elder was shocked by that. Our MC said to him, while leaving, that he wanted to go to the 5th floor. All of them were shocked, and could not believe that our MC was going to the 5th floor. They thought that even the most outstanding disciple could only go to the 4th floor, and except for their Empress, the Great Elder, and the Supreme Elder, no one else had been to the 5th floor. The Elder thought that our MC was so worthy of being their patriarch, who broke many Tao hearts with one word. He said that he was indeed unfathomable. Now our MC was there. He said that there was a mountain of aura in his body, so naturally he had to choose the best techniques for himself. While entering inside, he felt that he was in another dimension. He wondered about the black rank technique, star-absorbing skills, and the elementary earth rank technique, thunderbolt technique, electricity mastery, spiritual vein, opening. These were intermediate skills, like the earth-ranked technique, heavenly spirit skill, auxiliary aura absorption speed. These were appropriate skills for the opening of meridians that allowed aura to flow to his body. The more spiritual veins, the faster the aura flowed, and also the strength increased. That was all the aura in his body right now. So he said that he had to choose the best technique, but he said that it could only open up a dozen spiritual veins at most. And he said that it was far from enough. He saw the most attractive scroll technique, and he grabbed it quickly. He said that it was an advanced earth-ranked technique, the demonic king technique, and it was what he needed the most. He was so happy to obtain it. He activated his tenfold comprehension to learn that skill, and it was pouring into his body. He fully comprehended it, and a large aura burst out of his body. Because of that large amount of aura, it spread outside, and all of them were shocked. They asked if their patriarch had found an amazing technique, and they wondered what skill it was to cause such a strong aura. The elder called him using a sound transmission to confirm if our MC was okay inside. Our MC asked why the elder was calling him. The elder said that through the rule in their depository, the ancient plate allowed the one inside to communicate with the outside world, so he used it. Because of the sudden occurrence, he was so worried that our MC had encountered a problem. Our MC replied to him that there was indeed a problem, because too few spiritual veins had opened. The elder said to him that he did not need to be depressed, because it was normal. He said that if he opened more than 10, it was good. Our MC said that there was still more than half of the aura left, and he said that he had opened 100 of them. The elder was shocked, and said that the limit of the demonic king technique was 100 veins, and only a heavenly being could achieve that. He was so surprised that he could actually do it in just 30 minutes, and he said that his comprehension skill was incredible. The system popped up again and rewarded him for shocking the elder. He got the god's record. That could unlock the godly physique. After he got the god record, our MC explained that in this world there were martial arts that were divided into 5 categories, from high to low, God, heaven, earth, black and yellow. He said that this technique was the strongest god-ranked skill. Our MC had no more time to waste, so he asked the system to activate the tenfold comprehension, and to comprehend it. He started to cultivate it, but suddenly there was a problem. He couldn't absorb it, and it seemed he couldn't continue it. He asked himself why it was not working, and suddenly he felt a lot of pain all over his body. It was so painful for him that he fell to the ground because of the pain. He said that cultivating a god-tier ranked skill was so complicated for a person, and if you were an ordinary person, you would die instantly. But it was worth his problem in his god physique, and it opened so many veins for him. It seemed that he couldn't endure it, but he was dedicated to becoming strong, so he endured it. He felt that it was breaking his bones and rebuilding them again. But unfortunately, he only succeeded in comprehending 30% of the skill. Our MC seemed calm a little bit, but he was not happy about it. It was too early to be happy, so he thought to comprehend it completely. He said that 30% was not enough, and even with his tenfold comprehension, he only absorbed 30%. So he started again to cultivate harder, and he wanted to see what it was to have a god-ranked skill. He wondered how many spiritual veins he needed to achieve it. Meanwhile, outside of the depository pavilion, everyone was seeing the aura of our MC spreading outside. The girl asked the elder what that shining thing spreading in the air was. The elder replied to her that it was a spiritual sea, and explained to her that when a cultivator was cultivating, the aura would gather in the dantian like a stream. The more aura there was, the more beneficial it was to one's cultivation. He said that only when the amount of aura was huge would a sea be formed. The girl asked the elder if their patriarch actually had a high cultivation talent. A powerful tribulation formed and struck our MC while he was focused on cultivating. It was natural that when some cultivators reached a high level, they needed to prove themselves worthy of becoming powerful cultivators. Everyone witnessed this event, and they were so amazed and couldn't believe it. They said that their patriarch's spiritual sea had soared into the skies. Our MC endured it all, and many retributions struck him. But he didn't mind them at all. He focused on absorbing all of the aura of their heavenly demonic sect. The elder was amazed by him and couldn't believe that at such a young age our MC already possessed so much aura and had the best endurance. It was because of his godly physique that he could absorb it all and endure it. Our MC was truly dedicated to becoming strong, and that's why he was so amazing. The elders also said that our MC was truly a genius and an enviable young one. A powerful cultivator appeared there and said that it was so bold of him to approach there. He asked them who was coveting the aura of his sect. He was the supreme elder of their sect, the most powerful elder among them. Everyone was scared and shocked by the appearance of their supreme elder. They thought that their supreme elder was in seclusion and that he had successfully broken through and reached the immortal emperor realm. Now that the supreme elder was there, they greeted him. The supreme elder was so angry and approached Elder Gu Yan. Elder Gu Yan also greeted him and congratulated him for breaking through to the immortal emperor realm in one fell swoop. He was panicking and said that now that they had him and the Empress, who were both powerful immortal emperor realm cultivators, no one would dare to bully their sect. The supreme elder shouted at him and was so angry. He said that this breakthrough was nonsense, and everyone was shocked when they heard it. The supreme elder said that it was so hard to reach that stage and suddenly all of their sect's aura was being absorbed. He complained how a person like him could break through like that. He asked Elder Gu Yan who on earth caused that mess. Elder Gu Yan explained to him that because he had been in seclusion for a year, he didn't know about it. He said to him that the source of that strange phenomenon was the Empress's husband, their patriarch. The supreme elder was shocked and couldn't believe that his little girl Luo Qingqing got married. He asked who her husband was and where he came from and which sect he belonged to. He asked if he was the Divine Palace Emperor or the Holy Mistlord. Elder Gu Yan said that he was not one of them, but a disciple of their sect. The Supreme Elder couldn't believe it and said to them how a mere disciple of their sect could be worthy of their Empress. He also said that being married to an ordinary disciple was not as good as being married to an Emperor Realm cultivator, and that it was not good for building connections for their sect. He was so angry about it and released a strong aura. He asked them if that person was so worthy. Everyone knelt to the ground because of the strong aura of their Supreme Elder. But thankfully our beloved waifu showed up there. Everyone greeted her. The Supreme Elder asked her and was mad about it. He said to her that she was a ruthless girl and that the Righteous Alliance was eyeing their sect and might besiege them and their sect at any time. He said to her that if she wished to get married, she should have chosen a strong husband. He couldn't believe that she could afford to marry such a brat and unworthy person. He slandered our MC. Our waifu defended our MC and said to him that he needed to pay attention to what he was saying. She said that she was already the Empress, so he didn't need to worry about her personal affairs. The Supreme Elder got scared suddenly and said that he understood. Everyone was whispering that they didn't expect that their Empress would show no mercy to their Supreme Elder for the sake of their patriarch. Elder Gu Yan told them that they needed to lower their voices and not let him hear them while they were gossiping. Our MC was absorbing all the aura and a large thunder tribulation was striking him. Everyone saw this and said that it was a holy light. Thunder tribulation. They said that they thought that their patriarch was just cultivating a new skill and wondered why it turned into a tribulation. Our MC was focusing on his cultivation and a large lightning bolt, and many more were striking him. Everyone couldn't believe it and said that it was a thunderbolt tribulation. It seemed that the thunder was forming and passing through the spiritual sea. They thought that their patriarch was using it to open up his spiritual veins. Elder Guyan wondered how that was even possible. He had never heard of anyone using that tribulation to open up their spiritual veins like that. The Supreme Elder was so shocked and couldn't believe it. He asked her if her husband was really just an ordinary disciple because with such talent, it was very possible for him to reach the Emperor realm in just one day. He called her a ruthless girl. Everyone wondered why their Supreme Elder was calling their Empress like that. It was disrespectful to their Empress. Our waifu thought that it was because of his godly physique, that he caused this calamity and used it to open up his spiritual veins. She said that if that was so, the road to becoming a god was just around the corner. He was amazed by that. They saw a larger thunder tribulation forming into a dragon, and our MC's spiritual sea turning dim. It seemed that it was drying up. Our MC didn't mind it at all and focused on his cultivation. The thunderbolt dragon started to strike him, but actually our MC was absorbing it. They thought that what was worse was that if the aura was not enough and the thunder dragon directly entered his body, he would explode and die. Seeing this, our waifu rushed to go there and protect her husband. She told them that they didn't need to be so close because it was dangerous for them. She said that she would go and protect him and cast a powerful aura to counterattack the thunder tribulation. After that, when she was there with our MC, she watched him and wondered that she didn't expect that transforming the thunder dragon into a spiritual vein would require so much aura. Suddenly she was surprised to see that our MC actually forcibly absorbed her aura. Again, our MC sucked her up and their surroundings formed a large cover like a cocoon. Everyone saw this and thought that their empress was protecting him. They couldn't believe it because it was the first time that it happened. They said that except for their ancestors, who else could enjoy such a treatment like that? On the side, our waifu said that our MC wanted to drain her aura and thought that our MC had a big appetite. She wondered how much our MC could absorb, and she wanted to see it, so she cast some spell and gave her aura to him, helping him to rise up. She said that she was actually using all of her Emperor realm power for him, while our MC was absorbing all of it. Our waifu was giving him all her power. She thought that the Thunder Tribulation's spiritual veins momentum was indeed out of the ordinary. But suddenly, our MC became like this and just smiled out of nowhere. She thought that our MC's revenge would begin. In the blink of an eye, our waifu's suit was shattered because our MC shattered it. She was shocked and surprised. Our MC held her body, and our waifu didn't expect it to happen. She was blushing. Our pervert MC thanked her and said that his waifu took off her clothes to protect him. What a good excuse from our MC. Our waifu asked him if he had not seen enough and told him to let her go before he did something to her. She was so ashamed saying this. Our MC didn't expect that his wife would protect him. He seemed to think that his wife didn't want him to die. While he was thinking this, our waifu seemed like she was going to explode and was so mad at him. But then the sky was back to normal, and everything was calm. Seeing this, Elder Gu Yan asked the Supreme Elder how many spiritual veins he had opened at his first opening. The Supreme Elder said that he was considered a genius back then, with a total of 80. He said that our MC was extremely talented, and he wondered if our MC had opened 40 to 50 of them. Elder Gu Yan asked how many spiritual veins he had opened. Our MC said that he would check it first. He said that there was obviously still more than half of the aura left, and that he had only opened 199. Everyone was stunned and shocked. The Supreme Elder couldn't believe that our MC had opened 199.